My family was in the entertainment industry, so my grandfather created the Honeymooners, and then my siblings were on Little House on the Prairie, and so I eventually told him that I thought it was about my sexuality, and he was super sweet about it.
Sara Gilbert has gone through personal and professional challenges over the years, and once again, she finds herself confronting heartbreak. After what seemed like a picture-perfect partnership, Sara and her partner are going through a divorce. Beyond the end of her marriage, she has opened up about the struggles of coming out, navigating homophobia in the entertainment industry, and the complicated fallout with a former co-star. Let's dive into how she moved through it all. Sara Gilbert divorce. News broke recently that Sara Gilbert and Linda Perry, her former wife, have officially completed their divorce. Court documents show that the pair's marriage has been formally dissolved. Although the split was first announced years ago, this is the final end to what had once been a famous Hollywood couple. Their love story started when Sara and Linda met in 2011, shortly after Sara publicly acknowledged her sexuality. Their connection became deep quickly, and the two became engaged in April 2013. A year later, they tied the knot in a much-celebrated ceremony on May 30, 2014. A year after their marriage, they welcomed their son Rhodes Emilio Gilbert Perry on February 28, 2015. Sara was already a mother of two from her previous relationship, and Rhodes added a new chapter of love and family. Despite the love story and shared family, the union eventually faced challenges. In December 2019, Sara filed for legal separation and said the reason was irreconcilable differences. At that time, she asked that neither she nor Perry would get spousal support, showing that they were going to have a clean break. The couple lived apart and were eventually legally separated by October 2021. Over the years, the separation process continued, and in April 2024, Sara formally filed to make the separation permanent under dissolution with minor children. So, what caused the breakup? Well, Sara says it's irreconcilable differences, but in interviews, they have given hints that suggest a change in their priorities. Sara had already stepped away from her longtime role as co-host of The Talk in 2019, as she wanted to focus more on her family and personal well-being. The demanding nature of her public career and the pressures of fame might also have caused the marriage to end. But Perry says that the split is only part of their changing lives, and told the media at the time that life is happening and you're witnessing it. Now, with the divorce finalized, everyone is paying attention to their family and co-parenting. Sara and Perry have agreed to share joint legal and physical custody of Rhodes. Day-to-day decisions about Rhodes's welfare, education, and mental and physical health will be managed by whichever parent he's residing with at the time. Neither party will pay spousal or child support. This is a rare sign of an amicable divorce in Hollywood and shows that they are putting their child's interest first. As for emotions, the split seems to have changed their marriage into some sort of partnership. Although there are no more romantic ties, Perry has said that she still respects Sara. As Sara Gilbert was moved to tears after her tragic loss, she had no choice but to move on from the divorce and focus on her career instead. But this wasn't the first time that Sara had relationship issues, as before she got together with Perry, she faced emotional challenges as she split up from her previous partner. Split from Ali Adler. Sara Gilbert's split from longtime partner, Ali Adler, marked one of the most emotional turning points in her personal life. She later spoke about the emotional impact that it had on her and how vulnerable she was. During an episode on The Talk in late September 2011, as Kris Jenner tearfully talked about her marriage to Robert Kardashian, Gilbert found herself unexpectedly overwhelmed. The topic touched a nerve. She had just ended her decade-long relationship with Adler, a respected television producer known for projects like Chuck and Supergirl. Together, they shared two young children, Levi and Sawyer, who were only 6 and 4 at the time. In that moment on air, Sara let her guard down and began to question whether she would ever find a lasting relationship. She spoke honestly about how meaningful her years with Adler had been, calling that chapter a special time that she cherished deeply. But the breakup had forced her to confront daunting questions about long-term commitment and how couples manage to grow together through decades of life changes. Her words reflected both heartbreak and hope. She went through the grief of letting go, mixed with the desire to someday experience a love that endures. Despite the challenges of the breakup, Sara and Adler maintained love and respect for each other. Their focus remained on raising Levi and Sawyer in a supportive, stable environment. Even in the midst of personal upheaval, Sara made it clear that their bond as co-parents mattered more than the romantic relationship that ended. But emotions around a separation hardly ever settle neatly, and the months that followed brought new complexities. Not long after the split, Sara revealed on The Talk that she had begun dating musician Linda Perry, the former lead vocalist of Four Non-Blondes. The new relationship quickly drew media attention, with photographs of the couple holding hands spreading across entertainment news outlets. According to sources at the time, Adler was also struggling with how quickly her former partner had moved on. Whenever Adler saw the public affection between Sara and Perry, it was painful for them. But before this happened, Sara had depression, especially because she was dating someone of the wrong gender. That was a moment that was very tragic for her, and even when talking about it now, she is still moved to tears. Depression. Sara Gilbert once talked about her moments of self-discovery, especially when she was dating someone that she didn't feel like she should. During her teenage years on Roseanne, she dated her co-star, Johnny Galecki, an on-screen couple playing Darlene Connor and David Healy. Off-screen, the connection seemed natural, but the reality behind it was much more complicated. After make-out sessions with Galecki, Sara would start to get depressed. That depression, as she came to understand, wasn't caused by Galecki or their relationship, but because she started feeling like she was playing the wrong role in her personal life. She found herself having feelings for the same sex, and the fear of having those feelings exposed in an industry with rigid expectations weighed heavily on her mind. On shows such as The Talk, Sara opened up about how she eventually told Galecki she believed it was about her sexuality, and his response was one of kindness and support instead of anger. He had told her, "Of course, I love you. If you want, I will be there, and I will hold your hand." Sara's story saw a form of depression that inspired her. She felt sad, not because the relationship wasn't right for her, but because of the mismatch between her internal truth and the external life that she felt she had to live. When dating someone she felt she should be attracted to, she wasn't happy. But instead, she felt anxious and sad. This was because she wanted to meet the public's expectations. She was constantly worried that coming out might cost her her career or change how people perceived her in the roles she played. Sara has constantly talked about how difficult it was for her to come out and the emotional toll that she faced while going through this. Coming out. Sara Gilbert's coming out journey has been deeply personal and courageous. She talked about how she dated her co-star Galecki while grappling with her emerging identity. But then she started to get depressed and decided to come out to him. He supported her. But this was only the first step. She couldn't tell anyone else about it out of fear. So for many years, Sara kept her true self largely hidden from the public and even from her workplace. She and Galecki protected their shared secret, and she said, "No one knew at the show for years." She was always scared about revealing it to the public. When on the talk, she had said, "I always felt so scared. If it came out, what could happen? Could I lose my career? Will I ever be able to play a straight role again?" Despite all her fears, Sara continued to act, including in roles that portrayed straight characters, and her career didn't stall as she thought. Even if she dated a woman, she still kept it a secret. Yet her internal conflict remained real. In an interview, she admitted that even now, when she speaks about her sexuality, she asks, "There's still a piece of me that goes, 'What is this costing me in my career?'" Her approach to coming out was measured and personal. She emphasized living authentically while choosing her own timing and words. As one piece put it, she said, "I just think I am who I am, and when topics come up, I'll talk about them and share when it seems right." In many ways, Sara's coming out remains very inspiring. But she also faced different career challenges and scandals, even falling out with one of her co-stars in a move that shocked many. Falling out with Roseanne Barr. The relationship between Sara Gilbert and Roseanne Barr went from being familiar on screen to a falling out in a matter of days. Sara played Darlene Connor opposite Barr's titular character on the original Roseanne and its 2018 revival. Sara also held a producer role on the reboot. In May 2018, Barr posted a racist tweet about former Obama aide Valerie Jarrett. This instantly sparked widespread outrage and even caused ABC to cancel the show. At the time, Sara tweeted, "Roseanne's recent comments about Valerie Jarrett are abhorrent and do not reflect the beliefs of our cast and crew." Surprisingly, Roseanne singled out Sara in public, blaming her for the show's cancellation and for what she described as the destruction of her professional life. In a 2019 Washington Post interview, Roseanne said that Sara's tweet destroyed the show and my life with that tweet. She also claimed that Sara stabbed me in the back and twisted it repeatedly. Sara responded to the dispute, but not as dramatically as Roseanne said. She said that she was also sad about the show getting canceled, but she was still disappointed in Roseanne's comments. She also affirmed that Sara would always be family, and she would always love her. Meanwhile, the reboot's continuation, as The Connors, without Roseanne, proceeded under Gilbert's producer oversight. This became a source of Roseanne's anger. She said that the deal led to her being written out, and her character was killed off. The fallout between the two of them covered dramatic themes like loyalty, creative control, public accountability, and the tension between personal relationships and professional responsibility. Roseanne says that she was betrayed, but on the other hand, Sara says that Roseanne crossed the ethical boundaries that she believes in. The dynamic that once seemed like a mother-daughter partnership shifted into one defined by conflicting roles. Gilbert as executive decision-maker, and Barr as the star facing the consequences of a scandal. Even till today, the two of them are publicly at odds. Sara always keeps her tone respectful. Roseanne is still upset and feels like the show would not have ended if not for Sara's tweet, although many say that she is looking for someone to blame, because her racist tweet also attracted the attention of many others, and ABC had no choice but to cancel the show. While Sara was wading through the entertainment industry, she also found herself dealing with homophobia on every side. Dealing with homophobia. In March 2021, the daytime talk show world was rocked by a controversy that deeply resonated for many, especially around issues of identity and discrimination. On the set of The Talk, co-host Sharon Osbourne defended her friend Piers Morgan, during a segment about alleged racism toward Meghan Markle. That led to a heated exchange with co-host Cheryl Underwood, and soon after, multiple allegations surfaced about Osborne's past conduct on the show. Among the claims reported by journalist Yashar Ali and former co-host Leah Remini were accusations that Osborne had used homophobic slurs directed at Sara, who is openly lesbian. In fact, they used horrible terms to talk about her, saying things like fish eater and pussy licker. For Sara and others in the LGBTQ+ community who work in public-facing roles, these allegations show the persistent challenges of discrimination even in high-visibility spaces. Sara talked about how homophobia doesn't always appear as overt violence, but it's often whispered slurs and microaggressions. Feeling safe and respected at work is just as important as personal authenticity. The fallout from the controversy saw the show go on hiatus while CBS conducted an investigation. And eventually, Sharon Osbourne stepped away from the program. For Sara, confronting and witnessing homophobia in her workplace helped her in coming out. Sara also faced multiple challenges aside from this, especially when one of her co-stars passed away. Mourning late co-star. When longtime cast member Glenn Quinn tragically passed away in December 2022, his absence left a deep imprint on the world of Roseanne and beyond. Quinn, the Irish actor who portrayed Mark Healy, Becky Connor's boyfriend-turned-husband on the show, was found dead at 32 of an accidental heroin overdose. His character had played a key part in the Connor family dynamic from 1990 to 1997, giving audiences many memorable moments of awkward courtship and unexpected marital turns. When Quinn died, the loss was felt personally by his co-stars and the extended Roseanne team. Sara always remembered his talent, humor, and spirit, making him more than just a recurring character. He was already a part of the family. When the show returned in 2018, the producers chose to honor him rather than recast his part. The show included an end-card tribute to Quinn, admitting that Mark Healy had died years earlier and signaling to fans that his memory regained part of the story. His legacy also lives on in more subtle ways. Two of the characters, Sara's Darlene and Galecki's David, named their son Mark, informed by Quinn's memory. Sara recounted texting Galecki, "What do you think we should name our baby boy?" "Oh, maybe Mark." And he responded, "Oh, definitely Mark." Sara found herself facing another challenge when she had no choice but to leave the talk. Leaving the talk. In April 2019, Sara announced her decision to depart the talk after 9 seasons. During an emotional on-air segment, she shared that the show she helped create in 2010 had been one of her proudest achievements, but that she had reached a point where she simply could not continue juggling everything. Sara explained that the combined demands of hosting the talk show, acting and executive producing The Connors, and raising 3 children made her life slightly out of balance. She said she looked ahead to the next 6 months and thought, "There's no time." Despite stepping away from her full-time role, Sara made it clear she wasn't vanishing entirely. She said she wanted to remain connected to the show as a guest host and frequent returner rather than maintain a daily presence. In reflecting on her tenure, Sara expressed gratitude for how the platform helped her grow professionally and personally. She learned to craft a public persona that was authentic while balancing boundaries. The decision to leave, for her, was less a retreat and more a transition to a new phase of creativity and family life. But in the midst of her career, moves, scandals, and the tragic loss that caused her to be moved to tears, she found herself facing health issues because she was too busy. Health issues. Sara has openly acknowledged how her ambitious career path, balancing acting, producing, and hosting, led to her physical health taking a back seat. By 2017, she noticed she had let exercise slide after having her third child and realized that it was taking a toll on her body and emotional well-being. In an effort to reclaim that part of her life, Sara committed to 15 minutes a day of exercise as part of Prevention Magazine's #SpreadTheHealthChallenge. She found that this modest daily goal was manageable amid her busy schedule, squeezing in a walk or jog during a business call, or occasionally an hour of yoga when time permitted. The result was immediate. Her mood improved, her energy increased, and she felt happier and more positive. For Sara, these changes went beyond physical health. They allowed her to be more present with her children and manage the demands of her career with greater resilience. Surprisingly, before Sara could get to a point where she was always busy and under the spotlight, she faced challenges as a child, causing her to become introverted growing up. Sara Gilbert is moved to tears after her tragic loss, especially as she went through many ups and downs in her relationships before getting a divorce. What do you think is the most tragic part of her life so far? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. So, thanks for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one.